Hello, everyone from Montreal, Canada. So last night I watched the sixth episode of House of Dragons. And yeah, so spoilers alerts, I will be going through a couple of things in this episode that I have to be honest, I was dreading this moment ever since I learned about it a couple of weeks ago that they would be doing a time jump or time leap and they were changing certain actors. And you kind of through the first 5 episodes, you kind of grow attached to certain characters, and to have them changed and have other actors play their roles is never an easy thing to do. Having said that, I mean, this episode was still a very good episode. I mean, the story's moving forwards, and yes, the stakes are higher than they were. So it does leave you after the episode with a good impression overall. Having said that, a few things in this episode kind of got to me. So I will go through a few things in this episode that, I mean, it's not a deal breaker, but just certain things that not got on my nerves, but they just poked me the wrong way. So, okay, let's get into it. First of all, these actresses, they changed. And yeah, these are the actors playing their roles now. And the rivalry between the both of them is getting higher and higher. So the show starts off with what's her name? Rhaenyra giving childbirth. I mean, in a way, I've always wondered what it would be to be a woman in this world, and having watched now, this is like the second episode where we see childbirth. It doesn't seem like a very fun thing to do, and I'm horrified by the experience. But yeah, it seems like very painful. But, anyways, uh, she delivers what I think is her third son now. And I don't know if you remembered, but at the end of episode 5, she kind of decided to take responsibility because she does have responsibility towards her kingdom and whatnot. And her character seemed to have developed and having accepted her responsibilities. And therefore, she was going to get married to a guy who, let's say, has another orientation, but they sort of kind of agreed to do a deal where they would take on their responsibilities but still have their personal lives on the side. Now, having said that, it's her third son, and his hair, all three sons have brown hair. So I don't know if this is because the queen isn't Tigerian, or I don't think she is, and her sons have the white hair, whereas her sons have the brown hair. So is it just the males that pass on the genetic markers for the Tigerians? I mean, she's Tigerian, and her sons do not seem to be Tigerians. So it's not explained to me if it's only the males that pass on the genetic markers, or why she hasn't been able to pass on these genetic markers. But it's obvious to everybody that her sons are not from her husband. So that's one thing, it's obvious to everybody. And therefore, after giving birth, the first thing that the queen asks is that we bring the child to her so she can inspect it for herself. She knows what's going on. And I mean, how can I say this? if everybody knows and she was supposed to take responsibility, why is her husband not taking the responsibility of fathering a child? So it is nitpicking a bit because I haven't read the books, so I don't know exactly what's faithful to the books or what not and all this, but it's just something that so everybody knows. And for some reason the king he doesn't want to know about it. He knows about it but doesn't want to know about it, sort of. So, I mean, he's just happy that his daughter is having sons and whatnot. And yeah, so it okay. Move on to the next thing. I mean, the story progresses. Her sons have dragons. The queen's sons don't all get a dragon, which, I mean, here you can see that, both of the queen's sons have the white hair. So I don't know why the princess's sons do not. So, but yeah, the queen knows what's going on, and this who was the guard for the princess, who stirred a fight in that last episode at the wedding. You would expect that, okay, he did not commit suicide at the end of the episode, but I was still expecting him to be punished, to have like created chaos at that wedding, and we don't know what went on, or I don't have any closure on what happened in episode 5 in regards to his character, but he's still around and now he seems to be part of the Queen's Guard. And the queen tries to explain to her son, well, once the princess becomes the queen after the king dies, well, his life might be in danger and he needs to realize the severity of his position. And, he will probably have to claim the throne for himself at some point. Moving along, so these two apparently got married, and they've had kids on their own, and she's still pregnant here. And this is one of the things that kind of poked me the wrong way again. So this is like the second childbirth in this episode, and it does not go well. It's reminiscent of the first episode where the queen died trying to do a cesarean, and the child also ended up dying. So in this episode, it kind of goes through that motions again, except that she ends up going to her dragon and asking her dragon to kill her. And we don't know why exactly it happens the way that it happened, because either they could have saved the child or saved the mother, or if the mother was too far gone, still kind of try to save the child. So that didn't happen. But she also has a discussion with her daughter, and her daughter would really like to have a dragon. And her mother gives her a speech that, at some point she might have to, you know, go after the things that she wants in life. So I don't know if when she decides to commit suicide, instead of going through the ordeal and the pain of the childbirth that's not going according to plan. I mean, these, are not easy topics, but I also think that she might have done it so that her daughter could have a dragon. So, a lot of other plots develop throughout this episode, and it's really interesting. The characters are so good in the portrayal. I thought the king was going to die in this episode, but he's still around. And, he ends up losing his hand, which I'm not going to go into detail. I'm not going to spoil the entire episode. But yeah, so I did like the episode overall. Just certain things kind of poked me the wrong way. I mean, for me, okay, we knew that there was going to be a change in this season, and what I dreaded, what I feared happened, but it's not really a deal breaker. Every actor carries their storyline to the fullest. The characters are really entrenched in their roles. It's it's a good series. I like this episode, even though this so far for me it's like the worst episode, but the story still moves along quite nicely. So, anyways, let me know what you think of this episode if you watched it. I'm really interested in your comments down below. Please like and subscribe, and catch you in the next one.